Hello and welcome. Today we represent the 15 most graphically demanding PC games. Please click like button and subscribe for more videos.
Number 15. Forza Horizon 4. Forza Horizon 4 doesn't take any chances when it comes to graphics. The gorgeous environments through which players can drive their race cars are a huge testament to just how much detail and work the developers chose to put into the game. Ideally, that's how this game should be played, at maximum graphics settings to get the full experience. The game recommends an NVIDIA GTX 970 or an AMD R9 290X to run the game at aesthetically pleasant settings. It's also a bit of a RAM gobbler, demanding 12 GB of RAM, which is quite significant, considering many standard PCs will have 8 to 16 GB available right off the bat. Number 14. Grand Theft Auto 5. As with any open-world type of game, with Grand Theft Auto 5 the issue is usually with how big and graphically demanding the world is. The developers have stated that on PC the game can run all the way up to 4K resolution and even above, so to get the full experience one would have to have an absolute beast of a computer. That being said, just reaching the recommended settings shouldn't be too hard for most players utilizing an NVIDIA GTX 660 or AMD HD 7870. It's the budget option, but for players wanting to get the absolute maximum experience, going well above that tier is an absolute must if they want the game to run smoothly at 60 FPS. Number 13. Control. While Control won't be out on PC for another 6 months or so, just based on the console gameplay and some of the early testing and predictions, it can be determined that the game will require a very reliable GPU and overall PC in order to run at its maximum efficiency. The lights, shadows, and special effects in particular are bound to make any average GPU suffer. Early testing has shown that to run Control at high FPS, NVIDIA GTX 1660 is one of the best ones to do so. This is not your average GPU. However, it will definitely do the trick. AMD users can opt for the RX 590 or better to hit 60 FPS on average. Number 12. Red Dead Redemption 2. Now that everyone's favorite Western adventure of 2019 has been released on PC as well, it's time to talk about its flaws. Despite being an amazing game on console, it was fairly poorly transferred to PC where it continues to be plagued by stuttering and FPS drops despite even the most powerful PCs running the game. The recommended requirements aren't anything to laugh about either. For NVIDIA users, a GTX 1060 or above is absolutely crucial for a great experience. AMD users will need to opt for a Ryzen 5 1500X or above to get such results. GTA 5. Red Dead Redemption 2 is also a huge RAM hoarder, requiring 12 GB to run smoothly. Number 11. Crysis 3. When it comes to the one game that's most well known for melting GPUs to a puddle of molten plastic, it's definitely Crysis 3 and its predecessors. This game is so notorious for its intensive graphics that it's often used as a benchmark when testing GPU performances, along with games like Skyrim. Those wanting to run the game at minimum requirements won't see any issues, but anything beyond that will require a very robust GPU. Anything below NVIDIA GTX 560 or AMD Radeon HD 5870 won't do justice to this game's maximum graphical settings. Number 10. The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt. The Witcher 3 is still a benchmark for high-end gaming systems considering how high its visual settings can be tweaked. If you're an NVIDIA user, you can punish your GPU even further by turning on Hairworks feature to make the characters in the game even more lifelike. Moreover, the absolutely massive open world, covered in beautiful textures and illuminated by HBAQ plus light occlusion, makes the game very demanding. Running The Witcher 3 on anything less powerful than a GTX 770 and a solid processor will result in sub-30 FPS image reproduction. However, even cards like the new RTX 2060 and above won't be set to play this game at over 1440p, especially if they hope to get more than 60 FPS. Number 9. Final Fantasy XV. In 2018 we finally got to see Final Fantasy XV on our desktop monitors as well, and now there's promise of a Final Fantasy VII remake on the horizon too. But with FFXV was a price, utilizing top-notch graphics and some of the most stunning graphics and advanced physics GameWorks technology, the game will truly test your system's mettle. We're still baffled by the required 155 GB free space to play this game in 4K, that's right, 155 GB for a single game. And even then, we can't guarantee 60 FPS with anything tamer than a straight-up RTX 2080 or GTX 1080 Ti, some of the best commercially available graphics cards, as well as 16 GB of RAM. You can always tone it down to 1080p, though. Number 8. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. One of the most beautiful and immersive open-world experiences in recent gaming history, Assassin's Creed Odyssey is all about graphic power. The game allows you to freely explore the landscapes and detailed locations of ancient Greece, while the biggest drag on your graphics card will be the draw distance setting. But one of the biggest reasons why Odyssey boasts one of the most gorgeous open worlds we've seen is its dynamic lighting effects. To experience the whole shebang, you'll need at least a gigabytes graphics card, such as the GTX 970, something like the i7 3770 processor, and about 46 gigs of disk space. Number 7. Shadow of the Tomb Raider. The latest chapter in Lara Croft's story is more visually stunning and diverse than ever. The previous game was no piece of cake when it comes to system requirement, and this one continues the tradition. Even at mediocre refresh rates, you won't be able to enjoy this game with anything less than a GTX 1060 graphics card. The game is particularly graphics intensive combined with the brain power of something like an i7 4770K processor. To consistently make the 60 FPS mark, most of us will need at least a GTX 1080, and we won't even go into 4K resolution gaming for this one. Number 6. Project Cars 2. Hands down one of the most stunning autosport games out there, Project Cars 2 improves tremendously on its predecessor. The graphics are completely photorealistic, and the fact that you need at least 50 GB of free space to even install this game should be a testament of the amount of detail it includes. However, it's the CPU that's getting the lion's share of the work in this game. You see, this is not an arcade racer like NFS games, it's a pure racing simulation. Meaning, higher emphasis is put on physics, something CPU is solely in charge of. Because of this, the processor recommended to run the game is a hefty i7 6700K, along with a high-end GTX 1080 graphics card. And that's just for 1080p. No joke. Number 5. Kingdom Come: Deliverance. Foliage. That's the word that's probably going to be on your mind as your overpriced system struggles to push out 60 FPS in this game. This game's Dunia engine is actually based on the Crytek engine developed for the notorious Crysis. The system requirements for this game make little sense. Despite allegedly needing a GTX 1060 graphics card and a solid processor, and we can't forget the necessary 16 gigs of RAM, players running GTX 1080 Tis will still get under 60 frames at some points in the game. Number 4. Far Cry 5. For the 5th sequel of their renowned first-person shooter, Ubisoft decided to employ the same engine that made Kingdom Come: Deliverance your system's worst nightmare, the Crytek-based Dunia engine. Of course, the game's fictional Montana offers plenty of beautiful scenery with a strong sense of freedom and excitement, while the franchise's signature action and brutality remains the main ingredient of its success. However, if you hope to run this game at anywhere near 60 FPS and a decent resolution, you'll need a high-end card like the GTX 1080, paired with at least an i7 6700 and 16 GB of RAM. Number 3. Hitman 2. Hitman 2 is the most beautiful Hitman yet, brimming with cutting-edge visual tech features, the most eye-catching being their faithful object reflections. All the textures, filtering, lighting, and foliage have also been updated to make the game as taxing as possible for your system. Don't think of running this game at 1080p without at least a decent 4GB graphics card. Maxing out settings on 4K resolution is still possible, but will require a god card such as the RTX 2080 Ti, paired with a fast CPU. Number 2. Deus Ex: Mankind Divided. This game set the standard of graphics quality and technology when it first came out. With the Ultra preset, the game competes with the most demanding titles out there, even years later. To max out your texture settings, you're gonna need at least 6 GB of memory on your GPU. According to a benchmark test conducted by eTechnics, a dependable 60 FPS on maxed out settings will happen only on a GTX 1080 or better. Incredibly demanding of a game that was released at a time when the GTX 1080 was the one card to rule them all. Number 1. Metro Exodus. Metro Exodus features the fabled real-time ray tracing technology support to use the full potential of the new NVIDIA graphics card lineup. Players planning on running the game on lower settings might have issues, as the game offers only a few possible tweaks to improve performance for lower-grade systems. Benchmarks by PC Gamer on lowest settings reveal an average of under 60 FPS on anything worse than a GTX 1070, a powerful card. Cranking everything up to the max will make even the most powerful cards in the world, such as the RTX 2080 Ti or the Titan RTX, struggle to hit 40 frames.
Thanks guys for watching our video. Clicking a like button is the best way you can help us to show your appreciation. We'd really be grateful for that. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos. We'll see you guys.